Mean Gene looks horrified, while Sting keeps the same expression. Gene begins. Well, Sting, I gotta say, that was very unsettling. Do you have anything to say to that? Sting pauses for a moment. He looks all around the arena. He then puts out his hand for the microphone. Sting begins. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is a strange case of Sean, here with the 19th chapter of my story, New World Order, Undertaker. A story written by me, with some assistance from ChatGPT. In the previous chapter, we saw some of the repercussions from the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view. Before we hear Sting's response to Undertaker's offer, I will give you a brief recap, but be sure to check out all the previous chapters. And of course, if you enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I appreciate all the support. Before we witness the continuation to Sting's discussion with The Undertaker, I need to highlight two important points from the last chapter. One was the return of the Harlem Heat. Booker T and Stevie Ray were able to secure a victory in a four-way dance tag match to secure a tag team championship opportunity against the Dungeon of Excellence at Starcade. In this very same match, we saw the newly named Team 2004 team of Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko implode as Malenko had had enough of Jericho and attacked him, resulting in their elimination. Now Taker offered a deal to Sting in response to his call to raise the stakes of their matchup at Starcade, even more by calling for Taker and the nWo to disband. Taker was willing to accept the terms if Sting agrees to the match stipulation of his choice, a match made for the magnificently macabre. Taker outlined the match in its trials, instilling fear into the audience. Taker then offered Sting a way out, a chance to join him in the ranks of his order. And Sting said in response, "Wait a second, now we're caught up. So let's get started. Let's continue, shall we?" Well, Sting, I gotta say, that was very unsettling. Do you have anything to say to that? Sting pauses for a moment. He looks all around the arena. He then puts out his hand for the microphone. Sting begins. So either accept the match stipulations of your design, a match you believe I'm destined to lose, a match that you say foretells my ultimate doom, or join you and the order. Sting pauses. The crowd chants his name. Sting continues. Well, the choice is crystal clear. Taker, you say the soil is welcome to all. Well, Mark, that includes you too. I accept your match, and I will put you 6 feet in the soil, never to be heard from again. I'll see you at Starcade. Taker stares deep into the camera, through the flames, and cracks a smile. Taker responds, "The paths of glory lead, but to the grave. It just didn't have to be so soon." The screen cuts to black, and Thunder goes off the air. On an episode of Nitro, we see the commentators recap matches announced for Starcade. The Harlem Heat will challenge the Steiner brothers of the Dungeon of Excellence for the Tag Team Championships. And Sting will challenge The Undertaker for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship in a match titled The King of Terror's Trials. A best-of-3 series, back-to-back, each with their own rules. If Undertaker loses, not only does he lose the title, but the order must disband. Then, we see the entrance of WCW Executive Vice President Dusty Rhodes. He enters the ring with a microphone. Dusty begins. Well, I'm just giddy with excitement for this year's Starcade, and I feel empowered. I feel blessed and honored to have many fearless loyalists to WCW fight on our behalf against The Undertaker and his order. I feel empowered to make this match official for the pay-per-view. The nWo has had that United States Championship on lockdown for quite a while. That big red machine, Kane, has been unstoppable since his arrival, unfortunately. But this tells me he can thrive in big matchups. And so do I have a big match for that big fella or what? At Starcade, Kane will defend his championship against Randy Savage, Lex Luger, The Giant, Diamond Dallas Page, and Goldberg. The crowd erupts, keeping Dusty from continuing. The crowd settles down, and Dusty is able to continue. That title will be defended in a 6-person ladder match at Starcade. The crowd cheers again. Then the music of DDP plays. The crowd erupts once more. DDP makes a beeline for the ring. He enters quickly and grabs a microphone. Dusty, I appreciate the opportunity. I really do. But that ain't the match for me at Starcade. Dusty looks confused. DDP continues. The match I want is against that painted freak, Vampiro. I want to beat him within an inch of his life in a hardcore match. I will happily earn another title opportunity, and I'm willing to forfeit my spot. Dusty, you can make that happen, bro. The crowd cheers. Dusty responds. That's mighty bold of you, Paige, and I've always liked that about you. You got that match, and I'll even make it better. The winner gets the next United States Championship opportunity. DDP applauds and shakes Dusty's hand. Then, we see on the screen, Vampiro in the parking lot. Vampiro begins. Paige, you have no idea what you just asked for. At Starcade, I'm gonna break you. But that's even if you're gonna be able to get there. Then all of a sudden, we see Vampiro smashing what appears to be the car of DDP. DDP runs out of the ring quickly and goes to the parking lot. Dusty looks at the screen confused. But then his confusion grows more after the music of the Dungeon of Excellence plays. Bret Hart makes his way to the ring with the Steiner brothers. They enter the ring. The crowd boos the group. Bret begins. If you wouldn't mind a little respect, please. It appears to me there's an empty spot in your little ladder match for Starcade. A spot that rightfully belonged to me. But yet again, Bret Hart overlooked by wrestling promoters and fans. But now, Dusty, you have the opportunity to make this right. Put me in the match. A match I belong in. The crowd boos. Dusty responds. Well, there was careful consideration put into selecting the participants, and Bret interrupts. Not careful enough. What about me? Dusty continues. Take it easy, Bret, baby. I see you and I hear you. And you know what? I'll let you earn it. That last spot is up for grabs. Tonight, you will fight to earn your spot at Starcade against Chris Jericho. The crowd cheers. The dungeon does not look happy. The commentary team confirms the match is official for the main event of Nitro. At main event time, we see two combatants face off to secure the final spot in the US Championship ladder match for Starcade. Out first is Chris Jericho. The crowd cheers, but we see Jericho appearing to be not his normal charismatic self. He high-fives fans, but is going through the motions to get to the ring. Out next is Bret Hart, accompanied by the Steiner brothers. The bell rings, and the match begins. Both men start cautiously, exchanging chain wrestling and counters. Hart methodically wears Jericho down with precise chops and arm drags. Hart begins to shout at the fans that are booing him. Jericho then hits a springboard forearm, showing off his agility, and begins targeting Hart's ribs to soften him up for later high-risk moves. The Steiner brothers attempt to attack Jericho, but he's able to fight them off. The referee storms over and ejects them from the ringside area, leaving Hart to fend for himself. The crowd erupts in a mix of cheers and boos. The Steiners walk up the ramp, but turn around to defy the referee's orders. But then they get attacked from behind by the Harlem Heat. The teams fight up the ramp and to the back. Jericho looks to return his focus to Hart, but he gets taken to the ground quickly. Hart continues to deliver ground and pound attacks to Jericho. Hart continues to work on Jericho's legs, trying to eliminate a key facet to Jericho's offense. Hart then hits a swift butterfly suplex and tries for a pin, but Jericho kicks out. Hart goes to hit a double axe handle to Jericho, but he instead gets caught in the ribs with a dropkick. Jericho mounts his comeback with flashy offense, including a lion salt and a sequence of suplexes. He then gets Hart into the lion tamer. Hart writhes in pain. Out of the entrance stage, we see Dean Malenko make his presence. He gives Jericho 2 unflattering hand gestures. Jericho then breaks the hold and rushes out of the ring. Dean runs into the back, followed by Jericho. The referee reaches a count of 10, and the match is awarded to Bret Hart. Jericho shouts for Malenko backstage. He is then blasted by Malenko with a chair. Malenko continues beating down Jericho with the chair. Malenko throws Jericho to an upper landing. He then hits him with a brainbuster. Security pulls Malenko away as medics check on Jericho. On an episode of Thunder, the commentary team confirms the following matches have been made for Starcade. The first, DDP versus Vampiro in a hardcore match. The US Championship 6-person ladder match, along with Dean Malenko versus Chris Jericho in a grudge match. On the broadcast, we see the Acolytes make their entrance with the returning Paul, who is sporting a neck brace. They enter the ring, and Bradshaw grabs a microphone. He begins. The Order is as strong as ever, especially with the return of the Council of Paul. You WCW scum have no right to lay your hands on an innocent, kind man. So Goldberg, we are calling you out right now. Farouk grabs the microphone. Don't worry, we're going to get to all those people who are going to try and take the US Championship away from the Order. But Goldberg, get out here now. The music of Goldberg begins to play, but he doesn't make his entrance. The music stops. Then we hear... The crowd erupts. A new song plays in the arena with familiar graphics. The Acolytes look confused, as does Paul behind them. From behind, we see Scott Hall and Kevin Nash make their returns, standing behind Paul. Paul turns around frightened and scurries out of the ring. The Acolytes turn around and begin brawling with the Outsiders. The Outsiders get the best of the Acolytes, with Paul calling on them to retreat. Hall grabs a mic. He begins. Hey yo, so you really thought you'd seen The Last of Us? You thought you could take out the originals? The Outsiders? Nah, that don't work for us. He hands the microphone to Nash. Nash begins. You fellas came to the wrong neighborhood and made a big mistake making us a target. Don't worry, we'll get our hands on Taker one way or another. But right now, our beef is with you. And we want to settle this at StarrCade. Tornado tag rules. The Acolytes, or otherwise known as fake-ass Outsiders, versus us, the original Outsiders, or better yet, known as the nWo Wolfpack. The Acolytes look furious, but accept the challenge to end Thunder. The Super Bowl, the World Series, the WrestleMania of WCW, Starrcade 1998 has formed into a spectacle that surely can't be missed. The card includes matches such as a grudge match between former tag partners Chris Jericho taking on Dean Malenko, the Tag Team Championships being defended as the Dungeon of Excellence defend against the Harlem Heat, Diamond Dallas Page facing off with the nWo's Vampiro in a hardcore match. Representing the nWo, Kane will defend his United States Championship against 5 other competitors, including Randy Savage, Lex Luger, Goldberg, Bret Hart, and the Giant in a ladder match. The Outsiders, known as the Wolfpack, will face off against the Acolytes in a tornado tag match. And finally, Sting challenges the leader of the Order, The Undertaker, for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship and for the dissolution of the Order. These stipulations were agreed upon, as Taker got to choose the stipulation for the match, calling it the King of Terror's Trials. Sting, on the other hand, could cost him his own career, if not leave him broken beyond repair, if he cannot secure the victory against The Undertaker. What will happen at StarrCade? We'll have to see in the next chapter. Thanks for watching. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.